fans, I'm Fiona Fox and welcome once again to LDN Capital TV. Whether you're watching on TWC Fight in the UK or on the Fight Network in Canada, we've got a great show for you this week and we're sure you're going to enjoy it. This week sees the return of two beloved LDN stars. Firstly, Mike Mendoza makes his long-awaited return to Capital TV after suffering what was thought to be a career-ending concussion earlier in the year during the Golden Grappler tournament. Then in the main event, Arizona's own Tex Benedict is set to make his comeback against the former councillor Jonathan Hardwick. Benedict suffered a crisis of confidence after continually coming up short in title matches against the LDN British champion John Ritchie. But after a couple of months of rest and relaxation back in his homeland, he returns tonight and he's raring to go. In the London Eye, we'll be bringing you some big news about the Legends Showdown event that's happening in just over a month. Plus the man who put Ash back on the injured list last week, the Dominator, will be in action later in the hour. There's not a moment to lose, so let's get down to ringside and join your commentator, John Atkins.
Welcome once again, fans on TWC Fight and our Canadian fans watching on the Fight Network to LDN Capital TV. My name is Mr. TV, John Atkins, and we are kicking things off big style this week with the return matchup of Mike Mendoza. Fans, we haven't seen Mike Mendoza since the quarterfinals of the Golden Grapplers tournament. His opponent here tonight making his way to the ring, Sugar Ray Hammer. Sugar Ray Hammer, a product of the LDN Wrestling Academy.
Ladies and gentlemen, his opponent hails from Eltham in southeast London and comes to the ring weighing in at 17 stone, 2 pounds. This is Mike Mendoza.
And here he comes, Mike Mendoza. We have not seen him since the quarterfinals, the first round of the Golden Grappler Tournament 2007. Danny Garnell in a controversial matchup. Mendoza suffered an injury during the matchup. I believe he was concussed. He came back against Brooks's orders for a rematch where he suffered a further concussion. And he has basically been out of action for the last 4 or 5 months. But he is back, and by the looks of things, he is raring to go here tonight in this return matchup here on LDN Capital TV. His opponent here tonight, Sugar Ray Hammer, as I said, one of the first graduates of the LDN Wrestling Academy. We have already seen him wrestle a couple of times here on Capital TV. And he is a promising youngster, no doubt about it. But this matchup is about Mike Mendoza. And you have got to believe that he is going to be sending out a message, not just to Sugar Ray Hammer, not just to the fans saying that it's good to be back, but he is going to be sending out a message to Danny Garnell, who injured him. And indeed, knowing Mike Mendoza like I do, I think he is going to be sending out a message to the LDN British champion, John Ritchie. Mendoza, of course, had his hands full with John Ritchie at the beginning of the year. He has been a perennial contender to the British Championship. And now he is back. He looks to be in great shape and he is ready to go here tonight. And Sugar Ray Hammer would love to make a name for himself by defeating Mike Mendoza on his comeback bout. It is going to be a great matchup and indeed a great episode of LDN Capital TV. Coming up later in the hour, we will see the Dominator in action. He destroyed the current #1 contender to the championship, Ash, last week on LDN Capital TV. Suplex there from Mendoza. We will see him in singles action later tonight. Plus, the main event sees the return of Tex Benedict taking on former London councillor Jonathan Hardwick. Mike Mendoza doing very nicely indeed, thank you very much, against young Sugar Ray Hammer. Hammer comes off with a beautiful crossbody. Mendoza looks to be trying to flip that one over, did not have the momentum. A fall-away slam there from Mike Mendoza. And this guy has just got so much natural strength and ability. It is unbelievable. He has got Sugar Ray Hammer tied up in that corner. Looks to whip him across the ring. Hammer lands chest first in the turnbuckles. He has picked him up. And there it is, the running power slam. That should be all. 2 and a 3. No! Sugar Ray Hammer kicked out of that power slam. And Sugar Ray Hammer is not going to take this one lying down. And indeed, a roll-up there from Hammer. And I am impressed by this youngster. Mike Mendoza no doubt looking for a triumphant return. But Sugar Ray Hammer quite rightly looking to make a name for himself here tonight. And indeed, just imagine what that would do to his standings here in the LDN rankings. We would certainly be seeing a lot more of him on Capital TV. And he has just taken out the left leg of Mendoza, and Mendoza is down. And we have heard, by the way, fans, since last week that Ash has suffered a serious injury at the hands of the Dominator. And he will not be here tonight on Capital TV. And in fact, we are not sure when he will be returning. He is certainly going to be out for a good couple of weeks. We wish him all the best in his recovery. And we hope things are going well. But let us not forget that he is still the #1 contender to John Ritchie's British Championship. And it does not matter how long he is out of action, because when he returns, he is guaranteed a shot at the belt. That is a guarantee. He won a Battle Royal in the 1-year anniversary show of Capital TV. And he is not going to lose that #1 contendership. Oh my! Sugar Ray Hammer continuing to go after that left leg, in particular the knee joint. And he just cartwheeled his own body onto the knee. And Mendoza looks to be writhing around in agony. And things perhaps not going quite how Mendoza would have envisaged in this, his comeback bout. But knowing Mendoza like I do, I think he's enjoying the competition. He wouldn't want things to be easy for him. He doesn't want the red carpet laid out on his return. He doesn't want any special treatment. Mendoza is back because he feels he can compete at the top level. As I said, he was a perennial contender to the championship before he was out with injury. And he wouldn't have come back if he didn't think he could wrestle at the level that he was at before. Well, he has picked up Sugar Ray Hammer, looks for a powerbomb. And Hammer very wisely got out of that one. Couple of knees to the midsection. And a nice Hurricane Rana, hooks the leg. And a 2 count there from Sugar Ray Hammer. And this is a great opening contest, surprisingly competitive. Hammer looking for that second Hurricane Rana. But Mendoza catches him and tosses him into the corner pads. Hammer lands on the outside. Shoulder barge to the midsection of Mendoza. Hammer comes over the top. He is looking for that double leg Nelson, which I believe in Canada is called a sunset flip. But Mendoza catches him. And a spine buster of sorts. That could be all. But Mendoza, I think, has got more in mind. And Sugar Ray Hammer may have busted his mouth open there. A spear from Mendoza. And Mendoza, I think, can sense victory now. He can smell blood, quite literally. A big powerbomb there from Mike Mendoza. There's a cover. And 3 seconds later, it's all over. A big win here for Mike Mendoza. And take a look at that replay there.
Mike Mendoza.
A big powerbomb there from Mike Mendoza. And a return to action, and we saw there, he is after that championship belt. He sent out a signal clear as day to the LDN British champion John Ritchie. He is back and he is raring to go, and he has got a taste for the gold.
I felt at the time, and still do, that Brookside was the winner of the tournament and should have been awarded the Sword of Excellence. I went back to a dressing room and said to Nagasaki, I think Brookside won the sword fair and square, and that he should be presented with the sword. Nagasaki then turned to me and said, "It's not your place to think, nor to ever question my decisions. Now go back in there and do as you've been instructed. Tell Brookside that he simply didn't meet the criteria for excellence." In other words, Mr. Ryan, stick to your master like a dog and do everything I say. Well, Nagasaki, I'm not a dog and you're not my master. I felt that Nagasaki's attitude towards me after all the years I've been with him was abysmal. This wasn't the Nagasaki that I'd known for the last 17 years. This was someone else. After all the years that we've been going to book signings and been popular with the fans, I don't understand why Nagasaki would throw all that away. I feel that things started to take a strange direction when this Atlantis Cronus Goth came on the scene. And this is why, for the first time ever, I've been prepared to quote what Nagasaki has actually said to me in the dressing room on that fateful night in Bath. I feel that my relationship with Nagasaki has descended to the point of no return. We've had no communication with each other since that night at Bath, and I don't want anything more to do with a being that is nothing less than pure evil. But let me tell you, Nagasaki, off the record, not only have you offended Brookside, not only have you offended me, but more importantly, you have offended the ancestors. And you know as well as I do what that could mean.
This is London.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall. Introducing first from South East London, coming to the ring weighing in at 13 stone, this is Hakan.
Okay, fans, I would not want to be in this young man's shoes right now. Hakan, a popular youngster here at LDN. He is taking on Dominator, a true monster in a very real sense of the word. We saw Dominator in action last week. He was not scheduled to be in attendance. Nonetheless, he interjected in Ash's speech to the fans. And he destroyed Ash, a devastating powerbomb.
And ladies and gentlemen, to introduce his opponent, please welcome to the ring, LDN owner Mr. Sanjay Bagga.
Well, here comes the LDN owner and promoter, Mr. Sanjay Bagga. He is the man in charge, and he is looking very pleased with himself indeed.
Ladies and gentlemen, at this time, it's my pleasure to introduce you to the newest member of LDN. He is the EWW World Champion. He is the British Beast. Ladies and gentlemen, here is the Dominator.
Well, wrestling fans, Mr. Bagga went to EWW just a couple of short weeks ago. And somehow he managed to convince the EWW champion to turn his back on his home promotion and join LDN wrestling on behalf of Sanjay Bagga. And indeed, he appears to have been so far Mr. Bagga's personal killing machine. As I said, he wiped out Ash last week, thanks in no small part to the...
Once again, coming to the ring by Courtney Sin, EWW World Champion, the Dominator.
Indeed, as I was saying, thanks in no small part to the ample distractions provided by Courtney Sin. Courtney Sin, of course, we didn't know anything about her last week. We have since got a name. She provided the distraction. Ash was addressing the fans, talking about the title situation. LDN British champion John Richards suffered an injury. We went to see that matchup last week. Ash had come out to say how much he was looking forward to getting his hands on the championship belt at last. And that man came from behind and destroyed him. So fans, Ash, he is the #1 contender and he still will be on his return. But he is out of action. And now the Dominator set to take on young Hakan. And with all due respect to this youngster, I can't see the matchup going on for too long. Well, a drop kick there from the youngster, and it's had no effect at all. And that may have been a mistake, because a single right hand from the Dominator, and Hakan is on his back. And the referee wants to watch himself as well. Dominator dominating the youngster. Drops him in the corner. Big kick to the midsection. A right hand to follow suit, and a chop. Just blistering the chest of the young Hakan. Oh my! That one rang out across the building. And Courtney Sin looking on from the outside. And she clearly approves of what she can see. Courtney Sin, of course, joined the Dominator from EWW. And as I said, both appear to have taken on the mantle of Mr. Bagger's personal henchmen, clearly doing his bidding. And that implies to me that for whatever reason, Mr. Bagger does not want Ash to get the shot that he has rightly earned at the British Championship. They have wiped out Ash. What next for the Dominator? Hakan clearly not providing much of a challenge for him, but he is certainly sending out a message to the fans at home, and indeed more immediately to the other wrestlers in the LDN locker rooms. This is what the Dominator is. This is what he can do. And he is such a powerful individual. Just threw a headbutt on the young Hakan. Didn't seem to feel a thing himself. Fans coming up later tonight, we will see the return of Tex Benedict taking on the former London councillor Jonathan Hardwick. Tex Benedict has recently had a short sabbatical. He has returned to his home country of the USA, but he is back here tonight for the fans of LDN. And he is going to take on a man who had cost him many shots. Well, there we see Courtney Sin, not afraid to get physically involved herself. A slap to the face of Hakan. And as I was saying, we will see Benedict taking on a sometime associate of the British champion John Ritchie, the former London councillor Jonathan Hardwick. And indeed, Hardwick, another man who has made life a real misery for Ash over the last 6 or 8 weeks here on Capital TV, maybe longer. Ash and Tex Benedict, of course, great friends. Oh my, the Dominator has had enough. The Dominator has had enough. A single-handed choke slam. And the end must surely be near for Hakan. I don't know how he can take much more of this. He has taken a pounding since the opening bell rang. And now he's got him up. It's the torture rack. He has got him in the torture rack. No one can survive this one. Come on, referee, check Hakan. He has just dropped him. He has dropped him down. And a cover with 1 foot. And a win here tonight for the Dominator. A 1-footed cover. I have never seen anything like that. This man sending out a message to everyone here in LDN. Even the referee's intimidated by him. But come on, he's got his win. No regard at all for his opponent. He has just tossed the can to the outside. We're getting some help out here for the youngster. Dominator really not making too many friends here on his return to LDN. But nonetheless, another tick in the W column and a win here tonight on Capital TV for the EWW Dominator gets a boot up. And no, a chokeslam. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness, a single-handed chokeslam. Take a look at this slow motion replay. Ash landed on his neck. He was broken in half. My goodness, he was broken clean in half. Security have gone. They have got in the ring, but they are absolutely ineffectual against the Dominator. Ash needs help. Ash needs help. Get the Dominator out of there. I don't care how you do it, but Ash needs help. A single-handed chokeslam, and he landed on the back of his neck. I think I heard a snap. I think I heard something snapping. Come on, enough is enough. Enough is enough. Ash now on the top ropes and a bulldog from the top. And let's get a replay of this one as well. Straight on that injured neck, face first from the top turnbuckle. The Dominator absolutely heartless. He is a relentless killing machine. And he has just destroyed Ash. And if Ash wasn't injured already, well, I don't know how long it'll be before we see Ash again. Get some help back. The referee's checking on him. We have got some more security guards making their way back into the ring. But Ash has not moved. Ash has not moved. And the Dominator satisfied with a job well done. No doubt at the request of Mr. Bagger. The #1 contender to the championship, Ash. He has been taken out in systematic fashion. Firstly, a single-handed chokeslam dropped him on the back of his neck. And then a bulldog from the top rope. And Ash has barely moved. He is just starting, I think, to regain consciousness. He's trying to roll out of the ring. But he is not moving very much at all. And I am very worried. I, for one, am very worried indeed. This is a very uncomfortable moment here on Capital TV. Well, thank goodness Ash is, I believe Ash is standing on his feet. But he is just clinching that neck. He is grasping his neck. And you can see how red it is. In fact, I'm not so sure he can stand up. He has got 3 men supporting his weight.
Well, ladies and gentlemen,
and this is very sad indeed for the 2-time former LDN British Champion Ash. Fans, coming up next, Tex versus Jonathan Hardwick.
I'm Fiona Fox and welcome once again to the London Eye. We spoke last week about Robbie Brookside's reaction to the incidents that took place at the end of the Kendo Nagasaki Sword of Excellence tournament. Brookside, of course, won the tournament after a gruelling matchup with fellow competitor Phil Powers. However, at the end of the match, Nagasaki and his manager Lloyd Ryan refused to hand over the sword, saying that neither Brookside nor Powers were worthy of holding it. We've all seen Brookside's reaction to this, as he famously upturned Nagasaki's merchandise table later in the evening and vowed revenge on the wrestling legend. What we haven't seen is what happened to Phil Powers following the match. During the contest, Powers appeared to be hypnotised by the mysterious gloved hand of Nagasaki in an incident eerily reminiscent of an encounter between Nagasaki and Robbie Brookside some 20 years earlier. Powers, much like the young Brookside, was said to be shaken by the event, and many friends say he hasn't been quite the same since.
But no, he's gone to the table, and he's challenging Nagasaki, and Nagasaki has placed a hand over his face, and I don't know what he's doing. But Phil Powers is shaken. Phil Powers is shaken.
We mentioned it last week, but the date is fast approaching. Saturday, November 24th, LDN hits the Broxbourne Civic Hall for the biggest and most important British wrestling show to be held since the days of the world of sport. Last week on the London Eye, we exclusively revealed that Steve Gray will be going toe-to-toe with fellow World of Sport star Johnny Saint, who'll be coming out of retirement especially for the bout. This week we can announce that Robbie Brookside, Phil Powers and, wait for it, Kendo Nagasaki will also be appearing at the show. At this stage we don't know in what capacity they'll be there, but we'll keep digging around, and as soon as we know, you'll hear it first on the London Eye. So that's Saturday, November 24th at the Broxbourne Civic Hall for LDN Legends Showdown. We'll continue to bring you all the latest news about this spectacular event here on the London Eye, but if you just can't wait, be sure to check out ldnwrestling.com for more info.
This is London.
Ladies and gentlemen, the following contest is set for one fall. Introducing first from Hertford in Hertfordshire, coming to the ring weighing in at 16 stone, 7 pounds, Jonathan Hardwick.
Main event time here tonight on LDN Capital TV, and what a matchup we have got for you. Coming out now, a man who until just a couple of months ago was a full-time council worker. He worked 9 till 5 in an office. He gave all that up to follow his dreams of becoming a professional wrestler, Jonathan Hardwick, and he is doing very well indeed, thank you. He is taking on Tex Benedict, former LDN British champion. And what a year it has been for both men. Hardwick has had a fantastic year, whereas Tex Benedict really has experienced an annus horribilis.
And his opponent hails from London, Arizona, USA, and weighs in at 12 stone. Please welcome Tex Benedict.
The popular American Tex Benedict now making his return to LDN Capital TV. As I said, 2007 has not been a good year for Tex Benedict. In the first month of the year, back in January, Benedict had a grueling match against Sheamus O'Shaughnessy, an absolute monster of a man who has since been signed up by the WWE. Just moments after losing to O'Shaughnessy, the notorious John Ritchie came out and stole the championship belt from Tex Benedict. Benedict tried as much as he could, was not able to get the belt back from John Ritchie. In the end, they had a final matchup, and John Ritchie won. And Benedict really went into a spiral of depression. Tex Benedict, always popular with the fans here in LDN, and they're delighted to see him back. As I was saying, the last time we saw Tex Benedict, he had what could only be described as an epic encounter against the notorious John Ritchie, the British champion. Fought under spirit rules at the end of 6 rounds. The score was 1 fall apiece. Benedict had even scored the first fall, and John Ritchie had levelled things up. And at the end of the 6th and final round, it was 1 fall apiece. The two men were inseparable. Benedict petitioned for a period of sudden death, and in a bonus round, in round 7, the score was still 1 fall apiece. He pleaded for extra time. He was granted another 60 seconds. And in that 60-second sudden death period, John Ritchie scored the 3rd and deciding fall in the contest. But if it had been 1-on-1, that would have been acceptable. I think Benedict doesn't mind losing if you're better than him. But what really annoyed Benedict was that no matter how hard he tried, John Ritchie always had a backup plan. And I'm not talking about a new move in his arsenal or an exciting new strategy. John Ritchie basically cannot get the job done on his own. In recent months, we have seen him use Jonathan Hardwick, of all people, to get things done for him. And on that particular match, Benedict against John Ritchie just months ago on Capital TV, he had the 33-stone humongous in his corner and Danny Garnell. Benedict literally had nowhere to run. The 33-stone monster, humongous on the outside. The cocky young man from the East End of London, Garnell, backing up John Ritchie, and John Ritchie himself is no slouch. His good friend Ash came out to help settle the score, but it was still 3-on-2. And in the end, Benedict just seemed to lose the will to live. And in the 60-second bonus period, John Ritchie scored a roll-up thanks to interference from Garnell on the outside. And that was all Tex Benedict could take. He has spent the last 3 months back in his native London, Arizona, in the USA. He has been regrouping. He has been pondering over his future in the sport, or indeed outside of the sport. And he has decided clearly that he wants to be back in LDN. He wants to be a part of Capital TV, and good for him. That's a great attitude to have. And we look forward to seeing Tex Benedict back in the future, and it's a pleasure to have him back here tonight in the main event of Capital TV. Oh my! Jonathan Hardwick takes a tumble. Jonathan Hardwick takes a tumble. An unforced error there from Hardwick, the former councillor. He's not going to let it shake him up too much, hopefully. But so, as I was saying, 2007 has been a tough year for Tex Benedict. On the other hand, it has been a great year for Jonathan Hardwick. At the beginning of the year, he was working a 9-to-5 office job as a councillor for the London Borough. Some unfortunate financial irregularities in LDN's affairs forced Hardwick to, well, let's just say an investigation took place. Jonathan Hardwick represented the London Council. Some tax irregularities, which we don't like to talk about too much. And the LDN owner, Mr. Sanjay Bagga, was replaced for a short time by Jonathan Hardwick. And I'm not so sure those tax or financial irregularities were ever truly sorted out. I believe what happened is that Jonathan Hardwick blackmailed Sanjay Bagga and said, tell you what, I'm willing to let some of this slide if you'll let me become a full-time member of the LDN roster. So Hardwick joined through the back door, if you like, but he has been so very impressive. He has already scored wins against the #1 contender, Ash. He is doing very well indeed against Tex Benedict here tonight. And in fact, in just 3 short months, he has got one of the best win-loss records in the entire promotion. So Jonathan Hardwick, who just months ago was working in an office, is now one of the top stars in LDN, and he couldn't be happier. As I said, he has even got a slight affiliation with the British champion John Ritchie. Oh wow! What a clothesline there from Jonathan Hardwick. And so much confidence for one so young. Fans, I don't believe it. We have got to go to a break, but this matchup will continue. Don't go anywhere.
This is London.
Jonathan Hardwick, big height advantage over Tex Benedict. Picks him up for a skilled slap and drops a leg. Looks for a cover. And again, Benedict kicking out. And what a great show we have seen this week, fans. We have already seen the return of Mike Mendoza. And a very successful return that was. And Mendoza made no secret of the fact that now he's back. He wants a shot at the goal. He wants a shot at John Ritchie. Tex Benedict is back, and he wouldn't be back if he didn't think he was worthy of a shot at John Ritchie. And Ash, of course, is the #1 contender. And he has won a shot at the champion. And unfortunately for Ash, he was just destroyed by the Dominator. We sent him our best wishes, but it did not look good for Ash. He already had a bad neck from the attack the week before. And I don't know when we're going to see Ash back here on Capital TV. Nonetheless, he has won. He is owed a shot at the British Championship. That cannot be taken away from him. So John Ritchie, who we have not seen for weeks himself, is a marked man here on Capital TV. He has got at least 3 men gunning for his championship belt. Seen Ash versus John Ritchie just a couple of weeks ago. We would have seen it last week, but Ritchie suffered an injury. Or did he? I believe that he did suffer an injury. But with all those men, all these wrestlers after him, Benedict, Ash, Mendoza, who can blame him for phoning in sick? Who can blame him for forging a doctor's note? He is a marked man. who knows how long he's going to be able to hold on to that British Championship for. Well, we are seeing a great match here tonight. It's a great main event. Jonathan Hardwick against Tex Benedict. Snapmare takedown there from Hardwick. And Hardwick just showing so much experience for someone who's only been wrestling for 3 months. He has been working so very hard to get into great shape. And he must have been learning from the very best in the business. Nice chin lock there from Hardwick. And Benedict is fading fast. He is trying to get the fans behind him. And I'm not so sure he's succeeding. Finally back up to his feet. Big right hand to the midsection of Hardwick. Comes off the ropes, ducks a clothesline. And a flying head scissors. A flying head scissors knocks Hardwick upside down. Hardwick now in the corner. He is whipped from pillar to post. Tex Benedict looks to follow up with a big splash and he gets it. Jonathan Hardwick staggers out to the middle of the ring. He hasn't seen Benedict behind him. Missile drop kick to the back. Beautiful drop kick there. That is one of Benedict's trademark maneuvers. Benedict, I think, can sense victory. He is going to go up top once more. So many times we have seen him win matches with a big elbow drop. Comes off, my goodness! Looking for that splash. And he landed hard on the canvas. Jonathan Hardwick just able to get out of the way in the nick of time. If Tex Benedict had hit that move, we would have had a winner by now. But he landed so hard on the back of his head. We might just have another injury on our hands. As I said, Benedict has just spent a period of 3 months quietly reflecting in his hometown of London, Arizona in the USA. Oh my, a nice neck breaker there from Hardwick. And a 2 count. And I think Benedict might be wishing he was back home in Arizona. Well, Tex Benedict is down and he is holding onto that neck very gingerly indeed. And as I said, I believe we may have seen a second injury here on Capital TV in this hour. Beautiful drop kick from Hardwick. Benedict gets his foot on the ropes. This time Hardwick hooks the leg and just a 2 count. And Jonathan Hardwick is dominating the former British champion Tex Benedict. He has got a nerve hold there. Just pinching the back of the neck, the trapezoid muscles. And now pulling back both arms. Forcing the knee into the spine of Benedict. Benedict screaming out in pain, but he's shaking his head. He's not going to submit. But he must be sorely tempted to give in. How easy would it be for Tex Benedict to give up at this stage? Well, hang on, Hardwick's got him up for the jumping pile driver, and Tex Benedict doesn't want any part of that. Nice roll-up there from Benedict. And just a 2 count, so close. And Benedict showing why he really is one of the very best. Goes up for the crucifix, tries to pull Hardwick over for the cover, and another 2 count. And as I said, Benedict showing why he is one of the very best here in LDN. Just when you think you've got him beaten, just when you think there's nowhere for him to go but down, he pulls a couple of moves like that out of the bag. Goes for a cartwheel, and a handspring elbow hits the turnbuckle in the corner. And Jonathan Hardwick with a sidewalk slam. And Benedict lands back first in the middle of the ring. And Jonathan Hardwick needs to put him away. Well, a somewhat lackadaisical cover, and Benedict kicks out, and I think Jonathan Hardwick spent too much time gloating over that move, over that big slam, and not enough time hooking the leg. And Hardwick could have had this matchup won by now. Nonetheless, Tex Benedict showing incredible tenacity. And Benedict still trying to get those fans behind him. He is fighting back now. Oh, wow, what a move there from Hardwick. And Hardwick looks like he can do it all. Hardwick absolutely continues to impress. Every week he pulls out something new. And this man is continuing to improve. But Tex Benedict fighting back. Tex Benedict so determined, so much heart. Whips Hardwick into the corner, follows up with a big knee to the midsection. A kick to the sternum. Hardwick goes down hard. He's pulling him into the middle of the ring. And this time he is going up again to the top turnbuckle. As I said, he has finished off so many matches with a move from the top rope. This time the moonsault, it was picture perfect, and he lands squarely on Hardwick. Hooks the leg, did he get it? No, so close. Referee Chris Roberts says 2.5, and Tex Benedict cannot believe it. A picture perfect, textbook example of a moonsault. But Jonathan Hardwick still kicking out. And Hardwick showing why he has got to be considered one of the very best newcomers in LDN over the last 12 months or so. And a DDT from nowhere, a DDT from nowhere, and that might be enough. Here's a cover, and just a 2 count, but what a DDT. A desperation move from Hardwick, but it turned things around in a hurry. Hardwick now arguing with the referee, and that might be a mistake. He wants to stay on Benedict. Benedict still suffering the after effects of that DDT. And Jonathan Hardwick needs to capitalise on it. He cannot afford to argue. Benedict now still struggling to get back up to his feet. He's just on his knees. Hardwick pulling him up by the hair. And a big right to the fist. But Benedict feels nothing. Benedict feels nothing. A couple of blows from his own right hand. Hardwick lands in the corner. Benedict comes off the top. Cross body. Look at the leg. There's a cover. He's got it. He has got it. A win here. Take a look at this. He floats off the middle turnbuckle. Beautiful cross body. Look at the leg. Straight into a pinning cover. And 3 seconds later, here is your winner, Tex Benedict. What a great return from the London, Arizona native. A big win here tonight. And a great way to end LDN Capital TV. And Jonathan Hardwick is stunned. Hardwick really thought he had this matchup under wraps when he hit Benedict with the DDT. But he spent too much time arguing with the referee. Too much time gloating to the fans. He should have stayed with Benedict. He should have stayed on Benedict. He should have pressed on his advantage. But it's a rookie mistake. Benedict saw the opening, went up to that middle turnbuckle, floated over with a beautiful cross body. Hooked the leg straight into a pinning combination. 1, 2, 3. And here is your winner, Tex Benedict. What a great edition of LDN Capital TV. Fans, next week, Phil Powers is back. We will see tag team action with the Elite Squad. John Chapman is in the house. And ladies action, Sky versus Jetta.